All right, so greetings. My name is Big Bob, right? And today we are going to look at how to work with a remote machine, which we all know to be called a server. You see, in bioinformatics, you can never be able to work with your own computer except you have upgraded the computer to a certain level because we data sets, and because of that, the computer will not have the capacity to handle it. So the best way is to work with servers, and servers are simply remote machines. Remote in the sense that it's a computer by itself, but it is seated somewhere, and then you use your own computer and connect to it. And then you are able to use your own computer and work with that computer. So use your own computer and enter into that computer and begin to do whatever that you want to do. But to be able to do this, you have to know how to be able to take the information you have on your computer, take it to that remote computer and work or do whatever work you want to do there. And when you finish, you bring the results back. And that's what I want to show in a very short. So how do we copy into a remote computer and then also copy out? Or how do we get into a remote computer, which is called a server? Now watch it and then let's see how it works. Okay, so I pull up, this is my terminal. This is my, my local terminal. So if you open your terminal, just like I have, you need to open another terminal. This terminal currently is connected to my own computer. So you need to open another terminal and then use that particular terminal and connect to the remote, to the remote one. If you want, you can also connect this current terminal to the remote computer or to the server and begin to work with that one. Now, when you do that, but when you are going to bring whatever information or when you are going to take whatever information you have for your computer to the server, you cannot do it using the terminal that is connected to the server. All the time, whether you are copying into the server, you are copying out of the server, you always use the terminal that is connected to your local computer, just like the terminal I have right now. So I'm going to open a new terminal and connect to a remote server somewhere. So first of all, I'll come and right click down here, and then I'll open another terminal. And so you can see another terminal is opening. And so when it is done, yeah, I will see my command prompt. Right. So this particular terminal is done. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to minimize all of them. And so I'll push one to one side. I'm going to push this one to this side. And then I'm going to bring this one a bit down. I just want it to be in such a way that all of us can see exactly what I am doing. Because this part, I noticed that in my little experience, it can easily confuse people, and then they are found wanting. So this terminal you see on my right hand side of my screen is the one that is connected to my computer. The one on the left hand side is connected. I'm going to connect that one to a remote server. So I'm going to clear the screen first. So I'll just do my Control L. It is. So now I want to connect to a server. And so what do? First of all, I need to know the address of the server. So which means the system administrator would have given you an address. And then you use that particular address to be able to connect. Okay? Now, because I am connecting far away, I use SSH. Mostly, servers always start with this if you're connected to a remote server. And then followed by the address. The address, my address is this. And then I'm simply going to do this. And then this one. So I'm just typing my address. And then so you can actually know the server. It's actually at University of Ghana. So I have finished. Now that I have finished, I do enter. It's going to ask me of a password. And the password, when I'm typing, you will never see it. It doesn't appear. And so, what is it? You won't see what I am typing, but it is actually typing. So when I do enter, I'm now inside the server there. So you can see that it has moved away from my own local computer, and now it is now my own local computer. You could have seen my name there. Now I'm connected to a remote server, and this is the name of the remote server, or that's the address of the remote server. So I am here. Now, if I do ls there, If I do ls, then you will see that these are the information I have in that computer, which is seated over there. And this is how we connect to a remote server. Now I have my own computer too, which is also sitting here, that I can do whatever that I want to do. So now, in a case I want to copy anything out of this server onto my local computer, I cannot do it on this terminal on the left-hand side, which is connected to the remote server. Here, I can only run my commands and then do whatsoever. But when I'm taking information out of this server or information into this server, I cannot do it on this terminal. I have to do it on my local computer. And that's what I want you to pay attention to. So if I come to my local computer here, let's assume that I want to copy this folder called tutorials all the way to the server. How do I do that? First of all, the server like I have entered, because I have used my address, this is my section of the server. It's a whole computer. I'm not the only one there. Several people are there and everybody has address. The address is connected to the small area of the server that is allocated for you alone. That has been clustered for you alone or allocated to you. So if I'm going to copy anything to the server, what I simply would do is I will come to the server and do this pwd. That's why in my previous video, you haven't watched it, go and watch it. I said pwd is very important when you are copying files in and out of server. It tells me my current working directory. So my current working directory is AMR03. So it means if I want to copy anything and I want it to come and sit in my home directory, this is what I will have to use. Now, if I want it to come and be in a specific folder here, what I will do, the easiest way is to do this. Then change directory to that one. And I already have a directory they call, what is it? Bigba. So let's say I want to copy the file from my right-hand side, which is tutorial, into my file that is seated in a remote server somewhere in University of Ghana called B party. You see? So I've changed directory on that server into B party. Then I'll do pwd. So this is the full path. It's what we call the full path to that particular directory on the server. So if I come here too, I have to also navigate to make sure that I know I am where I am inside this particular directory. I can even go back one more. I can go back like this. And then this is where I am. So first of all, let me emphasize again, you cannot copy, you can't use the terminal that is connected to the server to copy anything in or out. You use your local terminal. So now let's assume that I am copying that file to tutorials, which is found in IVF. So I'm going to do pwd2 there, and then you see this is also the absolute path, right? So now pay attention to the absolute path I have underlined. So now I'll come to my local server and I'll begin with copy. But when you're copying to a server, we have something called secure copy. So I'll start with SCP, that's secure. Are you copying a file or a folder? I am copying a folder. I am copying a directory. Directory, the same thing as folder. So I put -R. Then where are you copying it from? I am copying it from my own computer. What is the absolute path to where that particular folder is seated on my computer? The PW has already shown me the absolute path, which is here. So I'll just underline this. And I'll do Control, Shift, and C. If you are using MacBook, yours will be different. You will use, then I'll simply come and paste it here. So I am going into my computer and I'm copying a file, or I am copying a folder called IVF. In any case, that's not exactly, so I'll add this and I'll say that I want to copy something they call tutorials or something. So that's the one I want to copy. To where? I'm copying it to a remote computer. So I'll put just one more space. I'll put a space like this. What is the address of the server I am copying to? The address is, my address to the server is AMR03 at, just like the way I used to log into the server, 03 at aabn.edu. ug.edu dot, let's say, gh. This is the address to the server where I am copying to. But when I get to the server, there are too many people with different sections allocated to them. Which section is mine? That is where I will now go there and say, when you get to the server, pick this parts, what I have underlined here. That's the one that I want. And then come here. So when you come to the server here, you put colon, and then now put that one over there. So what we are saying is that I am copying all the way from my computer, this particular folder called tutorials, into a server. This is the address of the server up to this point. But when you go to the server, don't go to any other person's area. Go to the area that belongs to this person. Go to the home directory, go and select this person who was the address allocated to me. And then when you go there, there's a folder called pt3. Put the information that you are copying in that particular folder. That's all. Now, when I have done this, I will now do enter. If I do enter, so it will ask me of my password to the server. Then I'll have to type in my password again. And then when I do that, you see that it has finished copying. It will copy straight. And now when I now come to my server right now, and I come to say, let's say ls here, you will see that there is now a new folder called tutorials. This is how we copy into a server. Now, let's assume that I want to copy the same, what is it? I want to copy the same, let's say the same thing back to my local computer. And then that will be the last part of this tutorial. I want to copy the same thing, the tutorials, back to my local computer. So what I'm going to do, I am going to delete it. At the moment, if I list, you will see that the tutorials is here. Tutorial, we have to have tutorial 1, but this one is called tutorial. So it is here. I'm going to delete it. So that when I copy, you see what I'm talking about. So to delete simply means you remove, and then it's -R. I think I have a tutorial on that, like that. So if I now list, you see that there's nothing like tutorials. I have only tutorial 1, but the tutorial itself has been deleted. So now I'm going to copy it from my server, the remote server. Let's assume that I have done whatever I wanted to do with that file. I want it back to my computer. So I will still come to my local computer here, and then I will say that, okay, I'm going to come here again and do pwd. Then I have this seated. Then I'm going to come here. I'm copying it to where? To this particular directory called IVF. So I also come here and do pwd. Make sure that I am in that particular directory, or if you know how to allocate the. And so I will start with my copying process. First of all, emphasis, you are using the local terminal. SCP, I'm copying the folder -R. Then where am I copying it from? This time around, you notice that from. I will now start with the address to the server. Okay? And so the address to the server, my address to the server is AMRO3, and then and then I have this, I have edu, and I have gh, right? But that's the server. I cannot copy the entire server. So what am I copying there? I am copying, so I'll come here and highlight this, and then shift, and then that's it. Then when I come here, after the column, I put there. So I'm saying that I'm copying a particular folder from a remote server. This is the address to the server. When you go to the server, go to the home directory, go to AMR03, go to pt3. There's a folder in pt3 called tutorials. So use tab. You can't use tab here. Sorry. So you have to have the complete spelling. So now I'm copying it to where? To my local computer. So I've already done my pwd, and then this was the absolute path to my local computer. So I'll just copy that, and I'll come to this place and paste it, and that's all. So I'm saying that go to the remote computer to this particular address, and this is the address of that computer seated in University of Ghana. When you go there, go into the home directory, go to the owner of this particular address, this particular space. There is a directory or a folder they call B party. When you go to that folder, there's another subfolder they call tutorials. Copy that particular subtutorials into my computer, and my computer address is also what I have here. Come to my desktop and put it in a folder called IVF. That's all I have done here. And when I do this, I will simply say enter. As usual, to ask me of my password, and I will now say US this, and then and that's all. So it has copied it back. And so at this point, if I clear my screen a bit, and if I do ls, you see that it is the folder is back as it is seated here. This is the simplest way to be able to copy to a server and copy out of a server. So now I have what I am on my server here. If I don't want it, I can remove it. I actually don't want it, so I'll say. So I'm now working in that computer over there. So I'm going to remove. I want to remove it over there. So -R, and I'll say I want to remove this particular file. So now when I do this, you won't find it. This is the way to be able to copy files in and out of a server. This one I've just shown you how to copy a folder or a directory. If you were going to copy, let's say, if you're going to copy a file, the only thing you change, every other thing here remains the same. The only thing you change is you remove the -R. You remove the -R here. There won't be anything here. It means you are copying a file, a small file. But if you are copying a folder, you have to make sure that the -R is always there. That's the only distinction. And so because of that, I won't waste your time to show you how to copy a file. So you should know where the file is, you specify the file, and then you are copying it to wherever you are copying. The only thing is make sure there's no -R, and you are good to go. So this is basically how we copy in and out of a server. If you like my tutorials, please do me a favor and then subscribe to the channel. And by doing that, you are supporting me big time. Thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure doing this. I'll upload another video on wildcards, how to use wildcards in command line. Thank you. My name is Big Bright.